To be continued, chapter 1. Let me just rewind it back a little bit. When I go and say, my auntie, they found out that she was using, me as a way to get checks from SSI that she wasn't supposed to be getting. So she ended up dropping me off to my grandma and granddad's house because she had to eventually turn herself in to go to jail for doing what she did because they had found out about it. Now, meanwhile, just to explain some things, my granny is not my mom's mom. My granddaddy is my real granddaddy, which is my mom's dad, but he had remarried. So basically, I was getting dropped off to the stepmother, which is the girl or lady that he remarried, but I call her grandma because basically she is a grandma too, So I got dropped off there. As soon as I go in the house, I see 3 young ladies and I see 1 young man. Now, with the girls, I was 1 year apart from the baby girl. So if I was 3, the first baby youngest girl was 5, and her sisters came after her. So it was a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, 7-year-old. And then my little cousin, he was the baby, but he was the boy baby. And I think at the time he was like 4. And, basically, come to find out, he doesn't really live there. His mom takes care of him. But he's there sometimes, when the mom doesn't feel like, babysitting him or he's coming home from school. So basically it was like the 3 girls and I, and since I was the baby at the time, I was nothing but 3. I really didn't have to do much, I slept a lot, kind of watch, just like watch them do what they had to do all day. I didn't really do much, So I did that for a year. I watched my girl cousins. I watched them clean up every day like they were slaves. You know what I mean? Like they always was doing some kind of housework. Either they would go to school, come home, do housework. My granny would just beat them all the time. Like she would just beat them like all the time. Like, oh God, she would just beat them like just all the time. And I watched that. But I watched the difference though. Like the boy, our baby boy cousin, he would always be treated different. Like I don't know why they just gave him so much more attention. He could watch TV, he could do what he wanted to do. He didn't have to clean up. They treated him like that. Like at the time I couldn't understand why they treated him so nice. Like he wasn't ever hit on, but I thought. At the time, my cousins would always talk to me like they treat him like he God and they treat him so nice and he always get this, he always get that. Why they treat him so much better than us? You know what I mean? At the time, I just felt like maybe they treated him different because, he had a mom to take care of him. He wasn't really a burden to my stepmother. Maybe, she felt like I don't have to take care of him. I got to take care of y'all. You know what I mean? So maybe that's why the difference was. That's why we was thinking anyway when we were younger. I watched this go on for a whole year. By the time I had turned 4, my mom had came back into my life. Now let me explain to you everything that's going on around me so you can kind of get familiar with who I'm living with, the kind of houses they lived in, etc. Now, my grandma, which is my stepmother, that I had got dropped off to, and my granddaddy, they were plasterers. Like they did plastering, they did painting. They build stuff with bricks and cement. You know what I mean? They was that type of workers or whatever. My granddaddy, he would go to work every single day. I'm talking every single day. My grandma, she would be at home. Stepmother, grandma, aka stepmother, she would be at home on the phone acting like she doing something constructive. She so-called had this business called Amway, you know, and like she would try to sell the products, I guess. Maybe she was successful, but we were so young, we didn't know. But it was so crazy because she stayed in like, it was like mansions. I mean, I'm talking big mansions. You know, in Atlanta, it's like this one big hill, and it's like 6 different mansions. You know, gazebos, like 2 or 3 gazebos on this hill where they lived at. And the hill, it was all family there. Like my grandma and granddaddy, they stayed on the bottom part of the hill, you know. And it was a big mansion. I'm talking about a huge mansion. And they built all of these houses by themselves from the ground up. You know what I mean? And they were made out of bricks, so they was real sturdy. They won't ever just blow away. You know what I mean? And so they lived in huge, big mansions. I kid you not. I promise you. Promise to God. They stayed in big mansions. My grandma, she stayed on the bottom hill. Then there was a gazebo. And then there was like 2 other big mansions. And then a middle mansion. It was a mansion on the side over here. And another gazebo. I mean, they stayed in these huge houses. You know what I mean? But it was all family orientated in the circle on the hill. It's like my granny and granddaddy, they stayed on the bottom. My auntie, that was the mother of my little boy cousin, stayed over there on the bottom part of the hill. And then I had my auntie, one of my aunties, which is my stepmother's daughter, she stayed up on the top of the hill. I had my stepmother, aka grandma, she had another daughter that stayed in the other house right here. So it was all family orientated. And then they had the middle mansion was like empty to be renovated. It was like a big mansion. So the bottom was turned into an apartment. And the upstairs just wasn't ever used. It was like storage for just then. You know, so the bottom, you know, my mom came along, you know, I guess she went to my grandma and aka stepmother, and was like, look, I want to take care of my child, you know. So she tried to be the mother, you know, quote unquote, for a while. You know, she went to work with my granddaddy every day with their business, because they, like I said, they was a plaster. They had their own little homemade business.